Ready? No debate, cause it's all. I'm too official, got the drip, I got the sauce. Bring the proof when it's time to tell the truth. I'll be at the corner booth, find me in the corner booth, yeah. Still standing and defiant. Slay the competition, cause I'm walking like a giant. Bring the proof when it's time to tell the truth. I'll be at the corner booth, find me in the corner booth, corner booth.
I see as well. Kate, I feel like I have not officially said this. I've tiptoed around it. Kate, will you marry me?
Do I have to answer now? Or
No, you have time. You can think about it. You can think about a way to say no without hurting my feelings if you want.
Oh my
lovely.
God.
I'll send you a letter.
Just don't even.
Alright, cool. Thank you. I'll send you my address later so you can send it to my house.
Yeah, I'm never giving you my address. I don't want you getting that close.
Oh, I know.
Oh, thank fucking God we made it to Thursday. I need a fucking beer. Oh, here's one. Nice.
Oh man, I actually remember to crack a beer open this time and not just use this fake candle as like a prop drink.
Nice. Fun fact, Space Dust is the easiest beer to shotgun. I will tell you that right now. The lack of carbonation makes it go down
Easier
like
than a
water.
Twisted Tea.
That's just chicken shit right there.
Now, if it's a Long Island iced tea, we might be talking about something else now.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm calling you a fucking psychopath.
I didn't say I do. I'm just saying that's something that'll kill you real
Oh,
quickly.
no, I'm saying whoever would do it,
Oh,
I
yeah.
call a fucking psychopath.
Especially if they're double fisting it. Like, that's a death waiting to happen.
I
Like,
have
that's nuclear.
friends who have done that. That's what's scaring me.
Now if it was
They
a
still
Blue Long
alive?
Island.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've made it to Thursday. We have special guest, of course, my friend, our friend, the Neuralink himself, DJ Stewart of the High Low Podcast. If you have not checked out their show, they just did one last night. I got to watch about half of it while I was half asleep. I was so tired and I couldn't type correctly, so I did not even bother commenting.
It's okay. It was probably for the best. Otherwise, it'd just be random gibberish, and it looked like one of us got it. One of us had a stroke or something like that. So it's probably for the best.
I just got an update from our friend Joe Hall, Hall across America, Hall across the country. I'm telling you the actual link this time. He heckled the hell out of me on the show that I got it wrong. It was on the back of my fucking shirt, which made me even more mad. Y'all want a badass wristband like this and a badass shirt like I wore last week. And of course, we'll tweet out the link tomorrow as well. But go support Joe right now. He's currently under an underpass somewhere in the mountain regions by Yellowstone and trying to dodge thunderstorms. So, and he sent me a picture of, I guess, Pandora is even trolling him, where it's the song right now is Thunder Rolls by Garth Brooks. I'm like, that's just perfect.
So what you're saying is last week not only did you have the link incorrect, but you kept calling Joel. So
I
was
felt
just
so
wrong.
bad about that. I was having a rough day. And then we went, and Matt, you and me had the worst six-pack performance of all time.
Yeah, that was a wild week. I don't even think
Oh my
DJ
God.
knows about the Joel story.
So Joel has been at Belly Up for like 2.5 years. He's a great football writer. If you haven't checked him out, go check him out on our website. You can find him. He's easy to find, but it's a lot for us. I have done 2 podcasts with him. The first 2 times I've done a podcast with him, he has never corrected me. He comes on the show, he goes, yeah, my name's actually pronounced Joel. And for the entire show, I struggled to pronounce his name correctly.
It was a good time.
Ladies and gentlemen.
He just kept saying Joel, and we would always correct him. And even at the end, he's like, Joel, I'm sorry for calling you Joel. And he's like, fuck.
Well, at least you got DJ, right? At least you didn't mispronounce Dej or Deja or something like that. So,
Deja.
we're making progress.
Apparently, I found out my name in Polish is actually ends with a K, which is crazy.
Jarek.
Jarek. That's how you pronounce my name in Polish.
Huh.
Holy, that's fucking badass as shit. I kind of like that. Oh my God. Oh, dude. I don't know what I'm more excited for. The fact it's almost a fucking weekend, or the fact we're going to have an electric factory for Thursday Night Football tonight.
No, it's
Yes.
definitely the Electric Factory. I'm probably picking up weekend work. So I'm definitely excited for
Welcome to the real world, Matt.
Yeah, I hate weekend work, but I'm at least excited to look forward the over. Dude, the Tua's passing yard lines is pretty low this week. They was like 250 or something like that.
I threw one at it. I said, fuck it. Even Joe Burrows is pretty low. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
I forgot. I did a parlay involving Miami was going to win. I forgot what it consisted of, but it took the over on everything too, related minus rushing.
It's kind of weird because neither pass defense has been exactly outstanding this year either as well too. So you'd think that passing yards would be higher for both of them.
Yeah.
I just want to see some fighting between Eli Apple and Tyreek Hill. Is that too much to ask?
First play of the game is Andre Johnson, Cortland Finnegan part 2. Just both them get ejected.
Bro, but except Tyreek Hill's like 3 inches shorter than Eli Apple, which would make this even fucking funnier.
Dude, Tyreek getting ejected first quarter for
straight jump punches Eli Apple to the noggin. I'd be like, let's go.
That would be the quickest way to ruin my entire parlay since I took
that would
the
destroy
over
my
on
two because I
rushes
haven't had any
receiving.
time Tyreek touchdown. And I was like, shit.
He somehow scores on an end around and does like the Antonio Brown kicking a punter does that to Eli Apple.
Bro, I would literally start crying. Oh my god.
Then gets into the end zone. But so you still get your touchdown and he gets ejected. Everybody wins.
I wish they did fun parlays. Like, is somebody going to get ejected tonight?
Oh.
Like plus 10,000 or something.
I was going to say the odds would be astronomical. Imagine the people that would have let that 1 week where they're like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to take Mike Evans as an ejection.
No,
like,
Mike Evans would have the lowest fucking odds possible. And so would like Tracy Walker of the Lions. But like there's like in the Dominican Sue if he ever plays football again, like shit like that. But like if you're talking like guys like, hey, is Darius Slay going to get ejected for grabbing Jefferson's face mask? Probably, since Darius Slay, I don't think I've ever seen him get pissed. That dude is the coolest dude on the planet when it comes to just like not getting rattled. I watched him get smoked by Hopkins 3 plays in a row, comes back, picks off Murray. I'm like, oh, or at least knock the ball. I was like, dude, that dude don't give a fuck. He's just here to ball.
It's crazy how good he's really gotten since he got away from Matt Patricia as well. Like he was good with Detroit, then he gets away from Matt Patricia. Now he's top 5, and now you see with Jeff Okudah as well too. The lines Matt Patricia goes out of the way, Jeff Okudah looks okay.
Jeff Okudah, they're calling him Baby Ramsey, and you know, honestly, I watched DJ. I don't know if have you watched a tape on Okudah this year yet? Because I got to watch like 5 minutes of it.
I got through a little bit. I haven't got a chance to go like in depth with it, but I did see he looks pretty good again. Like he looks like that Ohio State kid.
Hips are looser. Everything looks cleaner. His transition, cutting in and out of breaks, everything looks like what he was advertised as. So that's why I was like, oh, this is the number 3 overall pick. Got it.
That makes sense now. That makes a lot more sense. So I have the theory that if to be an elite corner, you have to deal with Matt Patricia basically insulting you for a year. Get rid of Matt Patricia, then suddenly you're an elite corner. It's worked with Darius Slay, now Jeff Okudah. Whoever's next, just hire him to insult your best corner for a year, then get rid of him.
My favorite part about this whole thing is that everyone's talking about Hurts and the Eagles' offense and everything else, right? But the scariest part of that team is their fucking defense. Their biggest hole is middle linebacker, and TJ Edwards is having a career year.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy that Nakobe Dean still hasn't even seen the field, too. Like, you still have that nuclear grenade just sitting in your back pocket.
It's like, and the dude literally played 3 plays. During one of his biggest plays of the pitching game was he decked a lineman into a running back, causing a tackle for a loss. And I was just like, and this guy was passed up for who? Like, I get Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd's played out of his fucking mind so far this year. I think he was Defensive Rookie of the Month this year so far, I think for this month. But I'm like blown away that we're in October for football basically, except for this is the last game of September, which is nuts. But Devin Lloyd's played out of his both linebackers. I think are like Lloyd and Dean were supposed to be the top 2 linebackers. I haven't seen anything out of that Walker kid from Green Bay, and this could be one of the most talented. Like, I'm not talking like superstars. I'm like just solid players up and down the board. I think this is gonna be one of those classes where it's gonna be like, that's a guy, that guy's solid, he's solid, that guy's solid. Where it's like you may have 1 or 2 Hall of Famers in this draft class, but you're gonna have a bunch of dudes who are just dudes. Like, they got some dog in them kind of shit. Like, I'm actually very impressed with how this draft class has performed early. I don't know. What do you guys think, Matt? What do you think of this draft class so far, how they performed the first 3 weeks?
I was just thinking the same thing, because even just it doesn't matter whether you're round 1, round 6. Like, everybody is performing. Like, even Romeo Doubs in Green Bay is making some moves. Garrett Wilson is emerging with the Jets offense. Brees Hall has his moments. Nakobe Dean's going to be special. I'm excited to see David Ojabo. But like you said, Devin Lloyd and everybody else, it's very surprising that there's not a clear, like, this guy sucks, what kind of draft pick was that just yet. You know what I mean? It's interesting because it's every year I feel like it's just like you got like a handful of guys that are great and everybody else sucks. But this year so far, everybody's playing pretty well.
You know, I feel like there's got to be at least one somewhere where we're just not seeing it right now.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think it's, you know, what thing is, I think it's just so fucking early. That's the problem.
Well, you know what you got to do? You got to wait until guys like Desmond Ridder and Sam Howell and take the field, and then Matt Corral. Then you'll see the quarterbacks that are going to start to play. You'll see if they pan out. Those will be the ones where you notice who the busts are.
Yeah, okay, I got you. I mean, like, the biggest thing to me, and feel free, folks, to comment who you think could be the first big rookie bust this year. But you know what my biggest thing is anybody just a little perplexed why Kenny Pickett's not playing? I know Mike Tomlin's old school, but, like, there's another reason I think why he's not playing. And it's the same reason I said during our draft. And I went on DJ and Kelsey's show, and I said the worst quarterback in this class, at least in the Big Five, is Pickett, because he's going to play first and he's not going to be good. And here's the thing. I'd rather have Malik Willis. I'd rather have Desmond Ridder. I'd rather have Matt Corral. And the biggest problem to me about this draft class, I don't know if Sam Howell, I think, is like it's a coin flip. Depends on who you want. Sam Howell might play in 2 weeks if Carson has a bad week this week. I'll be straight up with you, because what I saw last week was abysmal. He was holding the ball for too long, making bad reads. Yes, that drop by who's Washington's tight end? He dropped
Logan Thomas.
Logan Thomas. No. I'm flashing back to the Minnesota game. Went through a couple balls that were catchable that could slip through guys' hands, but then he threw a couple. I'm just like, what in the sweet Jesus is that, Carson? And when he fumbled, I put in the Corner Booth group chat, I said, guys, it feels so great not having to be on the losing end of a Carson Wentz fumble.
But are we really surprised he had the performance he had against that Philly defense?
Dude,
I'm not surprised.
I'm surprised they didn't shut him out. That was my thing. I'm like, wow, we actually let up a touchdown. This kind of sucks, but whatever.
Like on Tuesday's show, as expected, was what happened with that matchup. And even back to Tuesday's show with the Kenny Pickett.
Wednesday. And Monday.
Oh, Monday, Joel, all across the world. We know we're not getting anything right now.
If Joe is going to walk across the world, we got to really get some step up them donations.
I think Kenny Pickett is an any week starter right now, especially if Mr. Trubisky drops this game against the Jets and Zach Wilson this week. I think Kenny Pickett comes in by week 5, and 90% of why I believe that can happen very soon is because of the simple fact that Mike Tomlin has never had an under 500 record as a head coach, and that is on the line with Mr. Trubisky right now. So I think we can see Kenny Pickett by week 5 or 6 if they drop this week's game.
I'd agree with that as well too. I feel like almost the reason they don't want to play him is because he is limited, especially right now. He's going to have a lot of growing pains, and he doesn't have any, how do I word this, like natural breakout attributes. Like doesn't have a rocket arm, not lightning fast, not very big, not necessarily strong. He's just a pretty good cerebral player, and I think with that offensive line and the play calling's been going, I think part of the reason Tomlin's like, we're going to lose. I'd rather Mr. Trubisky get assaulted because he's kind of had it go on his whole career, as opposed to throwing out Pickett and stunting him at that point too.
You know what the crazy thing about Trubisky, and it's like anybody really, I'm starting to think it may not be just Trubisky here. I don't know if you guys have gotten a chance to look at the Pittsburgh offense. I think Matt Canada may actually be blind.
Oh, 100%. He's trash.
Oh,
like
what the hell? Big Ben's interview I thought was pretty alarming when they talked about how he would always have an audible, and now they won't even let Mitch audible. I was like, they won't even let him audible out of bad calls like that. That's scary. If I was a quarterback, I'd be flipping the fuck out. I wouldn't even want to go under center, because what happens if you call some? Let's say you call like a middle screen or a screen left, and it's a flood to the right, like a fake mesh pattern to the right side of the field, and a linebacker sniffs that shit right out, and you're like, I'm stuck. Like there's no way I'm going to get the screen pass off, and you're kind of just handicapped to it. Or they call a run, and nobody's calling timeout, and you see at least 3 or 4 guys in a run blitz at the line of scrimmage. You're like, oh well, we're fucked. That to me, I hate the whole idea of being handicapped to a play at the line of scrimmage. So to me, that just says a lot about how inept Matt Canada is an OC.
If Mitch Trubisky had a little bit more of that like gangster dog in him at that point, every time they did something like that, he's just take a delay a game back. Sorry, I didn't like the play. I'm not allowed to audible. You let me off.
Bro, go straight Aaron Rodgers with it. Just say, fuck you. I'm not calling this shit.
Just sit there and just fold his arms and stare at Matt Canada until the play clock wears out.
I think Trubisky also has to have a set on him to look at his offensive coordinator, be like, listen, like you're putting us in a position to lose, and I'm not going to do that, because I've been calling Trubisky Booty Bisky for years, and this just goes to show that he's fucking Mitchell
Mitch
Booty
kissing
Bisky.
titties.
Yeah. This is kind of a little older news, but before we were on the topic of defense and corners, I was going to say I have some food/NFL related news. I tried the sauce from Buffalo Wild Wings. That shit is spicy. That shit is good, but that shit was spicy and that hurt, and I had heartburn all that night, but it was worth it because my man has like an 80-something grade after that last week, so I had to get his wings just to support him.
You know who's actually apparently been having a really good year so far is Devin Singletary. Devin Stingley. Darren Stingley. Derek Stingley, sorry. You don't even hear about it. He's just playing great.
I think it's just because of the Texans. But I would say he's having a 10 times better of a year. I think a lot of people thought he was going to, especially after that injury that he had in college.
Also, the fact that Devontae Smith basically lives rent free in that guy's head.
Yeah, it's crazy. He went from the greatest corner prospect of all time to Devontae Smith's son in just a year, too. And
well, now that title is reserved for Kendall Fuller after last weekend's game. So
that was nice to see they finally get him involved. Since I've been pounding the table on your show and our show saying it's Devontae Smith's breakout year.
I've been telling you, listen, it's a double-edged whammy with the two of them. Like, I think the biggest thing with the Eagles' offense is if it was any other type of quarterback, like a guy who likes to zone in, like if it was like even Joe Burrow, as much as Joe Burrow distributes, like his favorite target is Jamar Chase. He doesn't hide that. And the biggest thing about Hurts is Hurts doesn't give a fuck. If you're open, he's throwing it at you. So with Quez Watkins, who's just basically a taller, less elusive Tyreek Hill, and you have AJ Brown and fucking Devontae Smith, who it's like 3 guys who are just 3 different prototypes of receiver, and it works out perfectly for how that offense is built. And so that's why I think it works. That's why their offense is so efficient. And so for Devontae Smith, Washington had nobody who was going to be able to body him because he's so slippery. When he came out in the draft, I said his pro comp to me was Keenan Allen's route running with Odell Beckham's explosiveness. And everyone's like, that's pretty high praise. I'm like, he's gonna earn it.
He's that good. Like, I think because he's skinny, people kind of just ignore the fact that he had the greatest receiver season of all time, and he'd done stuff like that for 4 years. Like, people forget how good he is just because he was twiggy. I think they kind of overestimated how good he really was.
And then the dude puts on like 15 pounds of muscle in the offseason, actually starts like looking like a decent sized receiver, and I'm like, oh no, still skinny. It's like, I don't know. Like, dude, actually, like, I like watching Smith operate because it looks like he just is always a step ahead of the corner. AJ Brown, though, I will say this: I never got to watch him live except for whenever he caught that game-winning I think it was the Colts against the Colts last year. I think we caught the game-winning they basically set the field goal, that game-winning bomb over the middle from Tannehill. Either that was against the Jags or the Texans. It was against one of the AFC South opponents, DJ. And he caught this like 60-yard bomb from Tannehill, and he's just muscling his way into field goal range for their kicker. And I'm like, that dude's a man. And then I got to watch him basically muscle his way into the end zone. I'm like, it's like watching a faster TO.
It really is. Like, that's actually a good comparison. I looked at him as almost Josh Gordon-esque, before the suspensions and all the tomfoolery. But like, hit those two guys, like, those are really good comps for him as well. He feels like a tight end that has really, really long strides, but at the same time can get going too.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, AJ Brown is like the prototypical big receiver, but dude is a top tier route runner and is just great at just playing the ball. Like a lot of big guys just wait for the ball to get to them, where you see like guys will actually attack the ball. And it's a big thing they talk about in colleges, where receivers, you see like DK has this ability, T. Higgins, Alshon Jeffrey was a pro at this. Mike Evans has been doing this for so long, where guys will literally attack the ball at a point instead of waiting for it to get to them, which leads to less interceptions by a quarterback. So I think Josh Gordon did this well in his young years in Cleveland. And if these guys would basically just, who also was really good at this was Dwayne Bowe. Dwayne Bowe would assault the ball. He would literally try to run through a corner to get the ball out of the air. And I think it's a big thing with a big thing that young receivers don't get is like, if you attack the ball, there's like a 70% chance either it's going to be a penalty or it's a catch. So either way, it works for your offense. So I just love watching that though. But we actually have an amazing game tonight. Like I am full on like pumped. Like I was telling my old man, because I come home, like I just had a weird day at work, and I'm saying like, listen, tonight's game, totally worth it. I am ecstatic about it, and I cannot wait. And the biggest thing was making my parlay tonight. I was like, oh, the odds should be higher, and it's like, I just want a fun game. I bet $150 on this fucking parlay that's gonna pay out 120 grand. I mean 120 bucks. Sorry, I'm used to the crazy shit. $120, and it's like, I don't care if it hits. I just literally want some fucking craziness. And so I guess the first one we're to talk about today, you guys hear about the story about like the UC students recording like the Miami Dolphins practice?
Then posting on Twitter as well too. And then I think it was, just like the stadium's right in the middle of campus. So it's like, it's not like you can really avoid it. And there's like rumors like people just get trashed during the weekend and go wander in there for fun. So the fact that you don't have that more secure when there's an NFL team in there practicing, like anyone could just walk in there, that's questionable. I'll leave it at questionable. I won't twist a conspiracy theory hat or anything, but it is kind of goofy.
You're not saying a couple possibly the Bengals were like, hey, go do this, we'll pay you. We'll
I'm not saying they'll pay them. I'm just saying there's a couple of guys that are like, I'm going to help my team, even though the team doesn't know who you are, and they wandered in there after downing a couple Long Island iced teas or something like that and decided to take matters into their own hands.
I fucking love it. It's, you know what the crazy thing about this game tonight is, one, I think one, I sent a message to my boy Frank Mike Smith about this. I'm like, dude, smash the over. Whatever it is, smash it. It's gonna hit.
I think it's gonna be just a shootout.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna have a touchdown the first 2 or 3 plays. Like somebody's gonna throw a missile to somebody, and they're gonna get loose. Like I don't think we're gonna get Kansas City, Los Angeles Rams Monday Night Football a couple years ago, but we're gonna get something like, okay, this is like at least like Eagles Rams 2017, where it's like 41-35 final score.
I think so as well too. I do think weirdly enough we'll see a defensive touchdown as well too. Just like one of the quarterbacks will get greedy,
guaranteed.
Go the other way.
It's not going to be Eli Apple.
Oh no, okay. I'm gonna say strip sack by Jalen Phillips and a scoop and score by one of the linebackers in Miami.
You're going for that Miami tie. That's where you're going with that. Jalen
Listen,
Phillips.
I need something to go right for these fuckers this week, man. That was brutal last week. I literally spit on my hat and threw it in my car. I was at a bonfire.
I'm going to say Xavier Howard pick 6.
Okay, I can see that. Or I was going to say, Byron Jones pick 6. That was the other one. Or Byron Jones scoop and score or something like that.
Byron Jones isn't an interception kind of.
It don't matter, man. Listen,
I know Joe Burrow will be throwing them though.
Joe Burrow slings it. That's what's crazy. It's like you can't like. I'm telling you right now, like I'm really kind of like, I'm thinking Joe. It's gonna be a turnover by Burrow. That's gonna be the first one.
I think my prediction of how this game is going to go is I think Miami's going to jump out the gate early on and take a sizable lead, and then I think it's going to be towards the end of the game where the Bengals play catch up, and I think they do catch up. I think Miami's going to win the game, but I think it's going to be one of those ones where one team plays catch up and they make like a miraculous comeback, and then it's just stopped short by like a turnover, like Jared was saying.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for that. I'm more excited for that Bengals offense because I think they have more elusiveness. Because I don't see there really being a run game with Miami. But I'm interested in seeing how Burrow is going to use Mixon and P. Ryan along with, Boyd and Higgins and chase against that Miami defense.
I actually picked up Hayden Hurst on the simple thing is like, listen, they need a tight end. I need a backup tight end for when Darren Waller eventually gets hurt or pisses me the fuck off, which is I don't know what's going to happen faster. So I said, fuck it, I'll grab Hayden Hurst, and I'm not going to start him today, obviously, but I made a crazy trade today. I don't know if it's going to pay off or I'm just nuts. I traded Ramondre Stevenson straight up for Christian Kirk. I don't know how I feel about it right now.
That's a good pick.
That was an amazing trade in my opinion. See, when you sent it to me, you said Kirk for Stevenson, and I was like, did he just trade Christian Kirk for Ramondre Stevenson? I was like, what are you doing? But then I was like, maybe it's not what I thought. But no, I
got Stevenson and I got rid of Kirk.
Oh, that's what you. Why'd you? Okay,
so let me preface. My running backs this year have been ass terrible. I have Eckler and Williams as my two starters. I have Mozart, James Cook, and fucking on my injury reserve, Brian Robinson. I scooped him up and threw him immediately on injury reserve because I know he'll be back by like week 10. So it's like in playoffs, that's going to be invaluable, him getting rushing yards. But my receivers are Garrett Wilson, Devin Duvernay, Darnell Mooney, Devontae Smith, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and A.J. Brown. I have good receivers. Christian Kirk was going to be swapping in and out with Devontae Smith and Garrett Wilson. So at least this way, I short my running back core for bye weeks and injuries, and I lose a guy who's maybe going to catch a touchdown every 3-4 weeks from Lawrence. And I do think guys are going to start shading him more, and you're going to see a lot more Zay Jones and Marvin Jones touchdowns.
So did you not draft Kez Watkins because you already had Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown, or was he already off the board? Okay,
no,
just curious.
Kez Watkins is a free agent in my league.
That was an Eagles joke at you, but
So by the way, so we have 11 people in our league, right? So there's a 12th team that is just a dummy team. Everybody plays it twice, and it's or at least once. It's hysterical. Quarterback Deshaun Watson, running back 1 Kyle Juszczyk, running back 2 Rex Burkhead, wide receiver 1 Henry Ruggs, wide receiver 2 Mohamed Sanu, wide receiver 3 Josh Gordon, tight end Rob Gronkowski, tight end 2 Tim Tebow, kicker Adam Vinatieri, defense Texans, backup quarterback Jameis Winston, backup running backs Brandon Bolden, Le'Veon Bell, backup receiver John Mechie, backup tight end Evan Ingram, and Taysom Hill. Eddie Pinheiro is the backup kicker. The backup defense is the Commanders.
I hope they don't have a win, do they?
No, their chance of victory is they are the worst team in our league by so much. It is literally called the Hernandez Funeral Home because it literally is an instant win and everyone on the team dies.
Jesus. Okay.
It's okay. My team name is Deshaun Watson's NDAs, so
that's fair as well too. It could have been much worse. They could have been much worse than that one. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of ways to go with that.
Yeah.
So I mean, back to your Kirk and Stevenson trade. Did you offer Kirk, or did they tell you?
I offered Kirk.
I think you could.
I am a big believer in Stevenson getting a lot of touches now that Mac Jones is in.
No, I'm not denying that. I'm saying I think he probably could have given up Garrett Wilson for him or something a little not as drastic.
He was opening up the market. I had to pull the trigger fast.
I understand. At the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do to try and get your team back on track.
Listen, he has no receivers, and honestly, I really think worst comes to worst, I might move if I can get away with seeing oh, hey, Stevenson has a big game. Let me move him for somebody. It's oh shit, okay. Go get another receiver. The thing is, I'm open. I even tried doing a 2-way trade for Javonte Williams and another guy for Debo, another guy, just to see if I could fucking get some moves. I'm all right, Jared, stop. You get in the trade bug. Stop. Okay, this isn't Madden. Calm down.
Did I tell you? I think I told Jared, but DJ, I made a good trade that turned out to be a stupid trade with some upside to it. So I'm in prime example of when you're in too many leagues. I forgot who I had on that roster for that specific league. So I traded Zeke and I got Kareem Hunt because I just wanted to offload Zeke. But I was happy I got Kareem Hunt because he offered me Damian Harris and I said no, and he wound up dropping Harris. So I felt like I got the better hand in it. I already have Nick Chubb as my RB1 already. I looked and was like, fuck. I was like, I think I have Chubb in a league. I was like, please don't tell me it's that one out of the 5. Of course, out of all 5 leagues, it was that league that I made the trade in. So now I've got him in my flex and Chubb as my RB1. But I'm banking on the possibility that Kareem Hunt gets dealt at the deadline because he wants a new contract. So I'm praying that that can happen and that it'll all work out in the end. But it's also a free league, so at the end of the day, I'm not upset. But I wish I knew that before I wish I double-checked my roster first.
Good news is, at least with that offense, there's enough carries to go around, at least for now as well. I mean, Hunt with 2 touchdowns week 1, Chubb's leading the league in rushing. So I guess if you're going to double dip, that'd be the team to do it with. But I kind of get that for you. It's like 1 week, yes, Chubb's going off. Oh, wait, Kareem Hunt has 2 points. So what is this crap? I can't.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, I didn't spend any money to get into this league, so I was like, all right, I can't be too upset.
Exactly, yeah.
What it really just turns into is like, it's so early in fantasy, but the fact that everyone's getting jumpy, this has been the weirdest year of football for stats. Like, all the top picks have been shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just absolute shit. I think, isn't Mark Andrews like the number 7th ranked, like fantasy option? I'm trying to see, like, I'm looking right now on Sleeper to see if they ranked them, like, who's the top, like, fantasy player.
It's Lamar Jackson right now is the top rated fantasy player. And then Lamar Jackson without rushing yards is the 4th ranked fantasy player right now, 4th or 5th.
Even
Jackson, then Khalil Herbert. That's that was week 3 stats. Sorry.
Even guys like Jonathan Taylor have had a pretty slow start to fantasy right now. And I had him in one league.
It's Jackson, Josh Allen, and Jalen Hurts are the top 3. Then Chubb, Diggs, Barkley, Kupp, Cordero Patterson, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Waddle, James Robinson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Joe Burrow, Carson Wentz is top 20. That's terrifying. Daniel Jones, oh my God. Tua, Kyler Murray, Mark Andrews, Christian McCaffrey rank out the top 20. That's hysterical. Running backs right now, it's Chubb, Barkley, Patterson, James Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, McCaffrey, Aaron Jones, Khalil Herbert, Jamal Williams, and DeAndre Swift are the top 10.
4 prime reasons why I'm 3-0 in my big money league is because 1, Jalen Hurts, 2, Stephon Diggs, 3, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and 4, Travis Kelce.
I have Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I have Jalen Hurts, and that's why I'm 2-1 right now.
I am so happy that I ignored the stupid criticism of Jalen Hurts and I took him in all 4 of my leagues or whatever leagues.
I figured worst case, he's still going to get me about 100 rushing yards per like every other week. So I'll at least get enough to be sustainable with my running backs.
I was so high on him that I didn't even draft a backup quarterback.
Oh, see, I drafted Matt Ryan. I already hate myself for it.
No, I was I believe in this guy.
I mean, DJ, how you feeling right now? I picked your guys to win this week, so
I
did pick them to win last week too. By the way, I'm like the kiss of victory.
Well, keep it going. I need that as well too because it's been a rough few weeks. And honestly, the weirdest part is when you think about the Colts, you think that offensive line dominant unit. They've been absolute dog piss for the last 12 games. It feels like I don't know if it's communication, I don't know if it's laziness, I don't know what it is, but people are walking right through and. Matt Ryan's turned into Carson Wentz with 7 fumbles now because he gets hit every other play. So honestly, you can't have a senior citizen getting free shots at a senior citizen back there. You got to find a way to hold up in some way. And they have 0 creativity on offense. So we'll see if last week turned it around, but it's been miserable kind of watching. And defensively, yeah, it's just the run defense has been fantastic. I mean, minus 140-yard run, they're giving up 30 yards a game rushing. So there's that, I guess, but it doesn't matter when Trevor Lawrence is giving 80% completion on the back end. So
yeah,
we'll see. They definitely have to win this week.
I still think it's going to be the Colts win the division. I think the Jags are going to be a wild card team, but I think they're going to hit their their usual Doug Peterson mid-season sputter, where they're going to just lose a game. It's like, what the fuck? How do we lose this? It's a Doug Peterson thing. They're going to lose at least one game where you're just like, huh? Wait, what? But by the way. So if you guys haven't checked this out, they did a quarterback rankings on part of my take, and it's hysterical. There is wrote back Geno Smith, Joe Flacco, Dan Marino. The guy the Bucs Jumbotron got fired is Aaron Rodgers. Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz in a Letterman jersey. Letterman jacket. Jimmy G in a very small Kyler Murray. Kirk Cousins is Dougie Mills. Russell, I can't play. Wilson, Derek Carr, and Tannehill. Making a play, Marcus Mariota, Danny Dimes, Baker. I think that's Mitch Trubisky. It is from draft day. And then Justin Fields, who cannot complete a pass. Ben Roethlisberger, Daniel Jones, and Jameis Winston are in the injured category. Might be a guy is Jacoby Brissett, Trevor Lawrence, and Matthew Stafford. Hates tablets. Ken Dorsey and Tom Brady. Good is Justin Herbert, Kirk Cousins, and Matt Ryan. Elite is Josh Allen, Tua, Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. And then him is Blake Bortles, Cooper Rush, and that man himself, Jalen Hurts.
Blake Bortles.
Oh, fuck. I love me some of the boat, man. That's the dog.
Two best quarterbacks in the NFC East, Jalen Hurts and Cooper Rush.
Fuck
Just
yes.
We all predicted right.
You know what the worst part is? The three best quarterbacks in the NFC East are not even on the Washington football team or the New York Giants.
Yeah, really, they're not. Yeah.
Okay, so I love all the Cooper. Can we talk about this before we start to go back to Thursday Night Football? Is like, can we just talk about how the Cooper Rush memes about him taking Dak's spot for good are hysterical?
Absolutely. And then I can't remember who it was. They said the only reason it's not a quarterback competition is because Dak makes so much money. If he didn't make so much money, then it'd be a real competition on top of it.
This would be Wentz falls all over again pre-contract.
I mean, Cooper Rush isn't throwing, 300-something yards a game and averaging like 5,500 yards a season like Dak was, but he's playing polished, clean football, and he's winning games. And Dak is Dak. Dak's a very good quarterback when he's healthy, but he can be a streaky quarterback. He can give you all the stats in the world you're going to want. Fantasy. That's actually
whatever, whether it's real or not. I don't care. It's taking on a life of its own.
That is the greatest take of all time. Amari Cooper is my favorite human for that quote.
But it's kind of like Moneyball. You got the cheaper option in front of you that's playing better football. He's not as flashy, but he's winning you games, and he's doing it in a way where you're not creating as many turnovers as before. So I mean, I am a firm believer in riding the hot hand. If Joe Flacco won last week, I probably would have said just keep rolling with him since he was at the hot hand. But Cooper Rush, man, I would just keep him going until he loses a game, even if Dak is healthy next week.
There we go. All righty. And finally, what do you guys think is going to happen tonight as we go back to Thursday Night Football? We already talked it's going to be a high-scoring game. Who are we picking? Matt?
Oh, I'm going Miami. I think this can be a game within one possession. I think it could start off hot in Miami's favor. I think the Bengals could play catch up, and I think they can catch up. I think it's going to come down to a turnover that ends the game, and I think that's going to be on the behalf of Cincinnati. But I'm excited. I think it's going to be a high scoring and a high passing yard game. I'm looking at Tua and Tyreek, Tua and Waddle. I think Higgins is actually going to have the bigger game today. Mm-hmm. He's a big reception kind of guy. I know Chase gets the touchdowns, but people forget how solid of a player Higgins can be. I think it's going to be a Higgins show today, but I think Miami's going to take it in the end. If I had to give you a point projection, I'm going to say 34-28 Miami.
Okay. DJ.
I'm going to take Cincinnati on this one. I think it's going to be a very back and forth game. I think they need this a little more. You look at the AFC North, it is the Browns and the Ravens could take a big step forward to separate them if they lose this one. Plus, Miami is really banged up. LaTron Armstead's banged up. Jalen Waddle's banged up. Tua's back injury is showing up. He is showing up on the report too with the ankle plus that concussion. That was not a concussion, I guess, but was clearly a concussion from last week on a short week. I think it's going to be close and it's going to be back and forth. But I think the Bengals will do just enough to squeak by. I think you play the Ravens and the Bills in back-to-back high emotion, high stressful, high those high demanding type of games, they'll kind of wear on you a little bit here as well. So give me the Bengals in a close one, maybe a 31-23, some 24, something kind of like that. I think both teams will put up points, so they'll move the ball, but I think the Bengals will maybe get a chance, like double dip, like score at the end of the half, then right away out of halftime, something like that as well too, or just get one extra play here or there. I do agree with T. Higgins. I think this could be a game where he really shows up now that he's getting healthy again too.
I actually kind of feel like this is gonna be a Joe Mixon. Just he's not gonna score touchdowns. He's just gonna eat yards. Like he's going to be a nightmare for them to cover. Like a lot of swing passes out of the backfield, quick runs out of draws and quick pitches, stuff like that. Like, ways to get him involved. Because I think the focus can be on taking away Higgins, taking away Boyd, taking away Hurst, that passing game. But the underneath shit is gonna butcher Miami. The biggest thing to me with Miami is that if they were able to get that fucking field goal off, and let's just say they hit it, we have a whole different conversation this week. That extra second or two could have meant the difference. Like if I think who's the guy that threw during the second last play? It was Dawson Knox or Isaiah McKenzie.
McKenzie,
One
yeah.
of them it was the last play of the game before they couldn't
Yeah, it was
clock
McKenzie.
It was McKenzie. If he was able to get out of bounds and they were able to get one more play off and get it out of bounds and get in the field goal range, and so they say the fucking Bills win, right? A whole different conversation this week. I think the Buffalo Bills are still the best team in football. I think Philadelphia's 2. I think Miami's 4. I think Kansas City's 3. Because of the Patrick Mahomes factor and Andy Reid factor, I will never put Kansas City below 9 or 8. They're always going to be a top 10 team, a higher top 10. Right now, I think Kansas City basically just took a bad L to DJ's. I knew that was going to happen too. Colts were desperate. Chiefs had a little time off. They had an emotional win, and Jonathan Taylor had a great game, and you knew it was a recipe for a win. Philadelphia is a great team. They need to prove they can punch a contender in the mouth. Like if they walk into Arizona next week and knock in Jacksonville this week and both knock them the fuck out, great. You're a top team. But like you got to prove to me you're worth it. I've seen a lot of Eagles teams start off 3-4, 5-0, and then are like a first run exit in the fucking playoffs. So I need some more proof. Buffalo is that dude. And Miami survived. They did not win, they survived. That is the line I want people to hold on here. So with all that set in mind, I still think Miami's going to win, but I think this is going to be really fucking close. I have 42-38, the final score. Burrow throws an interception on the last play of the game, trying to aim for the end zone.
So what you're saying is we're all on the edge of our seats the entire game. Like, oh my
yes,
God.
like I am going to be showing up to my work meeting. My meeting tomorrow at work at 6:55 a.m. Half asleep, and totally okay with it.
Mostly asleep.
Yeah, the double shot of coffee is going to help.
Just straight into the veins with that.
Straight to the veins. Alrighty, y'all ready to do some fun shit?
I'm always ready for some fun shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. Let's crack a six-pack. Brought to you by the great folks at YeatsOfficial.com. Promo code CornerBooth for 10% off. These shades are Jared proof. I just chucked them against the wall. You should hear that. And also understand, I am serious. A lot of great styles. You can mix it up. They have ones more for a casual business. And they have out-of-control wild ones like these. These are the Aquas. These are the ones I always reference in our opening show line. You have ones that like my boy Kev wears all the time that look like you're some out of a Hollywood like fashion show. They got a ton of good ones. The steampunks, I don't know. The I can't remember what's they may be called the I don't even know what the fuck it's called. They have like 40 different styles. Anything to fit anyone's like kind of repertoire. Go check them out. YeatsOfficial.com, promo code Corner with 10% off. We have our first game of the week. They're the official sponsor of the Six Pack and the Corner Booth podcast. Without further ado, we're starting in college. We're going down to Fayetteville, Arkansas. I think it's Fayetteville, right?
Yes.
Fayetteville, Arkansas for Alabama, Arkansas. I think this game is going to be a lot closer. I am not touching this money line, but I'll start off right now. I'm taking Alabama. I think this team is on a murder spree, and their first real SEC victim is Alabama.
Mhm.
I mean, Arkansas, sorry.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun matchup to watch. Bama's coming off 2 pretty easy wins the last couple of weeks. Razorbacks just dropped a loss to A&M the previous week. But looking at the history of these two teams, played each other 30 times. Alabama holds a 22-8 record against them, and I think this is going to be the 23rd win of that entire career matchup series with them. So I am also going to take Alabama over Arkansas.
Going to sound like a broken record. I'm going to take Alabama as well. The only difference is I think they're going to win handily. I think they're going to win by 21 plus. I think Arkansas, unless they could pull like 3 or 4 takeaways that they can just get Bryce Young really out of his way, I think Alabama's going to roll pretty comfortably. I think that defense is going to get after Jefferson and make life difficult for him. I don't think Alabama is as good as last year or even the year before, but I think they're still plenty good enough right now, especially defensively. They'll give Arkansas some help.
All righty. We're going into Kentucky Ole Miss. The fact that this game has Ole Miss as the favorite is almost laughable. If me as I consider myself a decent gambler. I looked at this game. I started laughing. I'm like, this is a layup. You give me Will Levis, one of the best quarterback prospects in the country. You give me a hot out Kentucky team who's been playing out of their fucking minds for the past, I'd say, 18 months. This team has been through it, and you give me plus at the. I think. Hold on, I'm gonna read off the. Because I sent this to Matt. I could not believe what parlay what number I got offered from DraftKings for this. I believe it was for the money line Kentucky plus 210.
What?
At home. I mean, on the road. They're on the road, obviously. But 210 for number 7 Kentucky. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, give me the Wildcats all day, Will Levis. I don't hear trap game bullshit. I don't give a shit what they do in Oxford. This is about the best quarterback prospect, not named Stroud or Young in the country. Will Levis is going to play a great game. This Kentucky defense flies around. They play good, solid football. They don't do anything amazing, but they just play good SEC football, and that is why they're going to win this game. I think Ole Miss is a great upstart team. I think Lane is going to make this a fucking pain in the ass. That's why I did not touch this fucking money line either way. I mean, the point spread. I only touched the money line. Just give me a winner. Give me Kentucky. I can't. I'm not touching this shit. This is going to be a close-ass game. I think it's going to come down to the final possession, but I think Kentucky's going to pull it out because of better quarterback play.
I would agree with that. And I think I'm honestly surprised because when I look at Ole Miss, I see pretty good, but I don't see like top 10 endangering, I guess, if that makes sense. I see them as a top 25 team, but not some of the challenges in the top 10. So I'm surprised you got plus 210. I wish I was in a state that allowed gambling and I would have seen that. I would have thrown all of the house at it.
January 1st, buddy.
Can't wait. I'm counting down. I'm thinking about putting myself in a freezer so I can freeze myself until that time.
Dude, me and Kelsey could do a gambling show for the NFL players. Matt, and Kelsey could do a gambling show for the players. It'd be fucking great.
Yeah, we're either going to win a lot of money or I'm going to be filing for bankruptcy at the end of it. It's going to be great.
Welcome to my life.
I'm going to
give me Kentucky and Levis comfortably as well, too, by 10 plus.
I'm going to be that odd man in this one. I'm actually going to take Ole Miss with this one. I'm excited for this game. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch. I'm curious to see how Kentucky is going to challenge Jackson Dart. I think Ole Miss has won the last 2 matchups between these two, but I think one of the keys in this potential Ole Miss victory is going to be their rushing attack. They've got about 1,100 yards or so through the first 3 games between their 3-headed running back. I think I'm taking Ole Miss on this one. I'm gonna be that guy and just be different. My picks never pan out, so I'm gonna try and just do a little different of a strategy. But I like Ole Miss in this matchup.
Bold strategy, Kyle. Let's see if it pays off.
Fuck yes. All right. Final college game. We're flying through these right now. I love it because we're going to talk a lot of NFL ball. NC State. NC State. Clemson. What the hell is wrong with freaking StreamYard today? Matt, you're up first.
All right. This is my most anticipated game of the 6-pack for college football. I am going to have my eyes, as long as I don't have to work during this game, I'm having my eyes glued to the TV for this one. I'm going NC State. I think this is going to be a defensive key to the victory. I think defense is going to be key in this matchup. NC State defense has given up 179.8 passing yards per game and is sixth nationally in opponent passer rating. It has picked off an ACC best 7 passes so far this season. Clemson took them double OT to beat Wake Forest. I think NC State defense shuts down Clemson and walks away with this victory.
All right, so because I'm the only one who took NC State, Kentucky for our, I'll take Kentucky as my upset pick. You get NC State as yours for our picks competition, obviously. We haven't even decided what the hell we're doing for the end of the year. We haven't decided how much money we're spending. All I know is Kevin, Samir, JD, and Pat all owe me jerseys. But this year, me and Matt are going to pay out because, we're upstanding gentlemen. DJ, NC State, Clemson. What we got here?
I'm gonna go with Clemson on this one. I think I agree with Matt. It's gonna be defensive heavy. I think both defenses are absolutely fantastic. I think DJ Uiagalelei has brought insult to the name since he stepped foot in Clemson, but I think he's starting to get a little bit of a groove this year as well too, and start to find himself a little bit and be a viable Clemson quarterback. So I think he'll make a slight difference in this game. So give me Clemson in a razor close game, an ugly game too.
Another game to watch out for this week, if you want to put a good betting line on, it's going to be fun, is Oklahoma State and Baylor. Holy fuck, that game looks like so much fun. Oh, my God. You know what the worst part is about the six-pack is we get 6 games. Because back in the day when me and Mark Riley started this podcast 4 years ago, we picked every good game.
So it was a 6-pack one week and then a full keg the next week, depending on the matchup.
It was a fucking 18 rack every fucking week, man. At least 3 or 4 good college games and about like 9 good pro football games. But my favorite part about it was we used to get some of these random matches to be fun as shit. I love Oklahoma State Baylor. I'm sticking with Baylor on that one because I think Baylor is just on a hot streak. They just win games, they score points. I think Mike Gundy is destined for mediocrity.
I think another
he's 40. You come at him. You leave his boys alone. You go at him.
I ain't going at him. That's the problem.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying he's a man. He's 40. You go after him, and you got the right
Dude,
idea.
that speech is like one of my favorite childhood memories of watching SportsCenter.
I could still remember watching as a wee lad.
Wee lad.
I think another college game that I'm slamming the money line on as a gimme is, my gimme of the week is the BYU Cougars over Utah.
We're talking about this in 5 minutes. Shush.
Oh, never mind. I didn't say anything. Disregard that. I was talking about
dude's getting jumpy out here.
I was talking about that time Des Bryant fumbled the ball in the end zone and it was a catch and everything like that. That's what I meant.
You just gave Kelsey PTSD. What the fuck is your problem? Nah, it's funny. We literally have a gimmies and upsets segment at the end of this 6-pack, but Matt's so jumpy because he's lost 2 gimmies already this year. He's trying not to lose a third.
I'm so anxious because I'm like, I am not doing NFL gimme anymore. I learned my lesson. Fucking Kansas
NFL
City.
Gimmies are a fucking shithole. Unless your team is so good and the team is so bad they're playing, do not take a gimme in the NFL. Just stick to college. It's so much easier. All right. NFL time. 2 of the 2 highest scoring fantasy football players in the NFL right now. Both quarterbacks. Both drafted the same draft class. Both play in the AFC. And both are trying to get a hold of first place in their division. That is the That is the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson. I'll start with you, DJ. Obviously, NFL picks you go a little harder on with analysis. What are you thinking about this game right now?
What a matchup. I'll start with there as well, too. I feel like this quarterback play is going to be absolutely insane for both of them. I'm leaning a little bit more towards the Ravens, partially because the Bills secondary is really banged up right now as well, too. Micah Hyde's out for the year. Jordan Poyer's banged up. Trey White's still working his way back. Kyrie Elam was a little banged up, too. I think the way Lamar's been throwing the ball, there's going to be a lot of open spots for it as well, too. And defensively for the Ravens, I think that fourth quarter blunder against the Dolphins was a bit of an anomaly. I do think they're going to start getting their secondary together as well because they got some demons back there as well. So I think they're going to start getting – so give me the Ravens and what a matchup quarterback-wise. I think both Allen and Jackson are both going to eat plenty. They're both going to walk away like it's Thanksgiving with the belt loops loose with how much they eating. But give me Lamar Jackson just – I think the Ravens are on a mission right now. Lamar's that Brinks truck is getting heavier and heavier by the game. And I think it's going to continue this week. He's going to pick on that injury.
Oh, yeah, for another team. I don't think he's a Raven next year. We've had this conversation 1,000 times. I do not think he'll be a Raven next year.
Wherever he's living, that Brinks truck is going to be real heavy.
They
whether it's
fucked
Baltimore
up.
or anywhere in between.
I think Lamar is a very vindictive human being. He's a great quarterback, a pretty good human from what I've heard from personal accounts from people. But I think he's vindictive as shit, and I think he's going to hold this against the Modell family and the Ravens. I think this is really going to fucking screw them.
Come on down to Indy. Him and Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. That could be fun.
Bro, that is the most terrifying option read I've ever seen in my life.
Get behind 56 and just read option with those two. That won't happen because it's too good to be true, but I can dream.
We can all dream. All right, Matt. Bills, Ravens. What's your feeling in this game, and what's your pick?
Plain and simple, I think the Bills are out for blood. I think you've got a incredibly pissed off Ken Dorsey and an even more angry Josh Allen following last week's upset loss to Miami. I'm taking Buffalo in this one. I think it's going to be a high offensive scoring game. I think Josh Allen's going to sling it. I think he's going out there and he's going to be aggressive from the start to finish, and I think he's out there to get a victory, and I think he's out there to get a high-scoring victory. So give me Buffalo over the Ravens.
Very nice. Very nice. All righty. I am going to go with the Buffalo Bills as well. My biggest issue with the Ravens is that I want to see your quarterback outduel the other quarterback. And I don't care how many injuries that defense has. Sean McDermott finds ways to make stops. I don't get it. Listen, the Von Miller-Greg Rousseau combo is terrifying up front. The Philadelphia Eagles proved you can win a Super Bowl with a bunch of schmucks in your back end plus Malcolm Jenkins. Banged up or not, that secondary is still good enough to hold on. Jaquan Johnson out of the U is literally going to help that team win this game tonight. On Sunday. It's going to be close. I think Baltimore is the class of the NFC North. My pick was Cincy preseason, but they apparently can't get out of their own shadow. So, with that being said, it's Baltimore's division to lose, at least if the eye test is telling me anything. So, I'm taking Baltimore to lose, but they're going to make this close. It's going to be a probably 4 to 5 point game coming down to the last possession. Probably a sack on the last play. You know, it's how it's really going to turn out to me. I really honestly think Buffalo got fucked by the clock last week. Obviously, they did it to themselves, but in all honesty, the Bills are the best team in football, guys. Let's not kid ourselves. Healthy, and they're gonna be like kind of like that team that's gonna be like, oh, the Dolphins are first place almost the entire season. The Bills are gonna hang on, kind of keep it close, and they're slowly start getting guys back. They may go get a safety for a 1-year rental to replace Micah Hyde. And then you're going to see they may even get Saquon, apparently, according to Boomer Esiason, which I kind of like that trade for them. Then you're going to see around December, they're going to catch up to the Dolphins. They're going to smack everyone in the playoffs. And then we're looking at their AFC representative for the Super Bowl. I just think it's early. Buffalo is that team. They are that dude. They have that dude 17 playing quarterback. I think they're going to be okay.
They got a new CB1 too, Xavier Rhodes.
I totally forgot he still played football. Listen, it's not a bad replacement CB1, honestly. A guy to pull off the street, Rhodes could be a good one. Oh, by the way, DJ, I know you appreciate the guy whose jersey's in my background. He's the one who saved your game last week.
Yes, the dual Rodney's playing safety, the McLeod at the Classic.
The McLeod, that's my dog. Love Rodney. Dude literally knocked receivers unconscious when he was in St. Louis.
Oh yeah, he's a thumper too, and he looked good last week. Him and Rodney Thomas, the 7th-round rookie or 6th-round rookie, both they did a good job considering going to Kansas City, not letting him cook you over the top. Like they did really well back there.
Also, I will say this about Kansas City's offense: they're not as deadly over the top, but they're still just as efficient. I will give them that credit.
Oh yeah.
All righty.
I'll let Travis Kelce cook them up the seam directly. I'll word it that.
Well, I will say this though, and this is just basic football strategy, as y'all both know this. I knew Kelce was going to struggle a little more this year because Tyreek can't take the safety out of the play.
Mhm.
I don't care who MVS is. I don't care how fast he is on Amazon AWS. If I'm a safety, I see Valdez Scantling running. I'm like, all right, hey, whoever the corner is covering him, just run straight back because that ball is going to be around you. He's not Tyreek. He's not going to wiggle behind you and somehow jump over you like a fucking leprechaun. No. MVS is a good deep ball receiver, but he's not great. He's good. Travis Kelce is a Hall of Fame level tight end. If I'm the safety, I am starting to creep that way, let the linebacker drop, make that window real tight for Mahomes. It's going to be hard for him to hit that flag route every time they want to hit it. Jaguars, Eagles, Doug Peterson's return to the city of brotherly love. If any of you idiots fucking boo this man, I am taking skulls. This man not only brought us a Super Bowl, he put up with Carson's bullshit for 4 years. He gave us St. Nick, and he called Philly Philly. Doug Peterson is a fucking saint. He is a gentleman. He's a scholar, and he's a Hall of Fame coach in the making. I don't want to hear it from any of you fucking assholes on Broad Street. You earn it. Boo him the second kickoff happens. But until kickoff, this man is protected because he is a G and a legend in our midst. Other than that, fuck Jacksonville. I want to see sunshine in the dirt. Hassan Reddick and Brandon Graham and Josh Sweat and Jordan Davis, Hargrave, Fletcher Cox. Holy shit, that's a lot of guys. That's some dogs right there. I'm telling you right now, I got Philadelphia. I think Jacksonville's going to score some points, but Darius Slay will lock up Christian Kirk worse than Bill Cosby got locked up. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be bad. I don't think they've played a cornerback duo as good as Slay and Bradbury. And the thing is, they're perfectly even because they're both technicians at their craft. They're not freak athletes. They're both athletic dudes, but what makes Bradbury and Slay so good is they're both technicians at their craft. Like Jalen Ramsey, like Champ Bailey. Champ Bailey's a rocket back in the day, but he was a technician at his craft. So is Tre'Davious White now. These guys who make every mechanical and technique level strategic move to make the stop and make the play and read a quarterback's eyes. That is why they're one of the best quarterback duos in the league right now. Lawrence is going to struggle. I think the Eagles are going to be able to stop the run a little better this week. They're starting each week. They've shown they can stop the run a little better. And the other thing is, I don't go fuck who y'all got a corner. Y'all ain't covering all three of the Batmans plus Dallas Goedert. So give me Philadelphia.
Yeah, I like Philly as well, obviously, and to keep with my trend with implementing stats into my reasonings for my picks, Philly has the best defense in the NFL currently for the first 3 weeks of the season. They average 3.8 yards per play to the opponents, and they give up a 34.5% third down conversion to their opponents. Their defense is practically just lights out. I don't think this Dougie P revenge game is going to be anything in Jacksonville's favor. I think Philly is going to not maybe run away with this game, but I think.
Oh, no.
What do you think they're going to?
I think Jacksonville is going to keep this tight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be like what the game was last week with the Commanders, but I think it's going to be a game where Jacksonville holds their own, but it's going to be a clear like Philly won this game, but like good job Jacksonville, like way to put up a fight kind of thing. But give me Philly, just mostly because of that defense, but because Jalen Hurts is that guy.
Before you go, DJ, what I will say is about this game, this is going to be, hey, NFL, Jacksonville's for real, but so is Philadelphia. That's what this game's going to prove. Both these teams are playoff teams. I think Jacksonville's a year away from being a Super Bowl contender. You heard me. And I think that Philadelphia is saying, like, listen, this is a real team we're playing, but we are the better team in the end. And real teams make real plays, and big-time players make big plays in big-time games. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm I'm gonna hold back a little bit because I'm not sure how good Jacksonville's. That they beat the crap out of a bad team, and then they beat an injury ravaged Chargers team as well too. Like that team that's their injury report is like a CVS receipt at this point, and Herbert's
Christ.
accurate.
Like a
So-
CV. Okay, that
It's-
wins. That wins. Just give it to
There's a
DJ for the week.
Like, so I'm still curious about Jacksonville. I think that I'm still trying to figure out. I agree with you. I think they're a year away from being a team that everyone looks out for. Doug Peterson's done an incredible job just nullifying Urban Meyer's mess. That's why I thought this year was actually they were going to struggle a bit, just because no matter how good he was, they had to clean up that mess. So it looks like he's expedited that. I think the Eagles are going to win this one comfortably. I think the offense for Jacksonville will look good. It will have its moments, but that defense is not going to be able to stop that Philadelphia offense. The pass rush for Jacksonville is pretty good with Walker and Josh Allen, but that offensive line for Philly is going to do a good job containing him. Jalen Hurts' mobility and the way they run that offense, he'll be able to kind of keep the edge rushers at bay because they have to stay in their gaps. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, they're going to cook those corners. So give me a 31-21 type of game. Eagles in control. Jacksonville's offense, very efficient. They'll continue to move the ball like high percentage completions, but I don't think they have the firepower. And defensively, they're not going to be able to just have a boat race to the quarterback like they have the last few weeks.
Oh, yeah. I think the biggest thing is in this game, I think Lawrence is going to sling it. I think he's going to eat a lot of bad picks. I think this is going to be less. I think this is going to be more like Minnesota, where there's a lot less sacks and more deflected passes and interceptions. Because Peterson knows he's got 5 or 6 guys coming at his quarterback at all times, and he's going to have to make some throws that are not good. And I think Slay and Bradbury and Maddox, and I think we're going to see the first C.J. Gardner-Johnson interception as an Eagle this week. Also, we might see a Marcus Epps decapitation of one of the receivers because that man literally is a menace to society. I call him and CJ the Anarchy Twins, by the way, because the two of them either are going to make an amazing play or just get burned. So I am totally okay with the fact that on the back end of their defense, the two of them are literally a gambling nightmare. But the biggest thing with Jacksonville to me right now is that they are an amazing team when it comes to personnel. They are a greatly coached team. They have a great up-and-coming roster. The biggest problem is they're playing a team that was basically told from last September to now that their quarterback can't throw, that A.J. Brown is a headache to teams, Devontae Smith too skinny, that Miles Sanders is injury-prone, Boston Scott's too small, Dallas Goedert's injury-prone, that offensive line's old or underdeveloped, that defensive line's a bunch of nobodies, the secondary's old. It's starting to feel a lot like a certain Eagles team that made a lot of history, where it's like they've been hearing for weeks and years that I'm not saying they're going to do what that 17 team did, but you're giving them a lot of that same gas that team got that made them that team. So the biggest thing with me is right now with Jacksonville, I think to me is the 2017 Rams, where they're going to be a good team, where they're going to make the playoffs, but they're a first run exit. And they're going to be in the Super Bowl the following year because I think the Jacksonville Jaguars, for the first time in franchise history, are in truly good hands, head coaching, quarterback, and defensive-wise.
My only problem with Dallas Goedert is him getting knocked down South Dakota. Everything else, he's been a high-quality tight end than that, too. My only problem is you can't get knocked down South Dakota. Like, you can't let that happen.
Fuck, I hate that story so much. All right, final game of the six-pack before me and Matt give away our gimmies. Chiefs, Buccaneers. I took the Chiefs. Tampa Bay has been moving around all week because of the hurricane. Mahomes and the boys are pissed off after a loss, and nobody loves sticking it to Tom Brady more besides Bill Belichick than Andy Reid. Give me those annoying assholes with the chant than Kansas City. I think they're going to – it's going to be close. But Tom can't score if he doesn't have any fucking weapons.
That is a good point. I'm going to take the opposite. I'm going to go against the odds, and I'm going to take Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay defense run by the fantastic defensive-minded coach of Todd Bowles has allowed 12 or fewer points per game through the first 3 games of the season. I believe they gave up 3 to the Cowboys, 10 to the Saints, 12. Was it 12 to the was it 14? 14 to the Packers. Brady's got a 3-2 record with Mahomes. This is going to be their 6th career matchup. I'm going to take the defensive heavy Tampa Bay. I think they're going to keep them in the game. I know there's not a lot of weapons that are available right now in Tampa Bay, but I think defense is going to hold this one to a close one, and I think Tom Terrific is going to swipe away with that little upset victory, if you will. But give me Tampa Bay over the Chiefs.
By the way, I learned last week, always go with my gut and upsets, because if I just took the damn fucking Colts as my upset pick, I had 3 points last week instead of 0. Fuck you, Detroit. It's time for everyone's favorite part of this segment.
Did DJ
did
go?
I delete this shit? I deleted this. All right, we're just gonna talk gimmies then. Fuck it. All right, gimme picks. My gimme pick. Give me Penn State. I actually have them in my parlay covering, which is scary to think about. But Penn State is my gimme. I honestly they're just a good team. They're playing Northwestern, who is trash. That's because they let my boy Grayson go. Shout out to my dog. Matt, and your gimme, of course, because you so boldly stated was the Mormons of BYU.
Yeah. Breaking news: BYU has already won the game. The Utah State Aggies, the 1-3 Utah State Aggies, going against the 3-1 BYU Cougars. I'm sticking to college for my gimme. I've learned my lesson with the NFL. This to me is the clear cut. Like, how could you not take the ranked BYU over the non-ranked Utah State? Give me BYU in this one. I think this is going to be.
Utah State's driving.
They're going to thrive after this week. give me BYU as my gimme. Zach Wilson is going to get me over the hump in spirit.
My backup idea was either Minnesota over Purdue or Michigan over Iowa, but I've learned my lesson, DJ, about betting on Big Ten games. So I will stop now.
Avoid that at all costs.
Just avoid it. Only bet SEC or Pac-12 or Mountain West. Never bet anything ACC or Big Ten. You're fucked. Oh, my
The
God.
one Big Ten one you can always bet on, though, is Ohio State over Rutgers. That seems like
I tried to bet it, and it wouldn't let me, so I couldn't pick it.
I tried looking at the odds for the money line, and it was not
both
available.
had the same idea, and it literally was like, yeah, no, you're not betting this now. Oh, my God. All right. Gentlemen, I have somebody for the Corner Booth dartboard this week. You guys feel free, if you have one by the time I'm done ranting, bring it up. But I have one because it's pissing me the fuck off. It's the local TV rights for the NFL. Last week, I had to watch either fucking Giants. Who the fuck they played? No, not Giants. I'm sorry. Jets, Ravens. Or Jets,
Bengals,
which was atrocious, and then, or I had to watch Patriots. Oh fuck, who the hell they played?
They played
Ravens.
Pittsburgh, right?
Yes, they played Ravens. Yep.
I watched my Eagles, and I watched the Eagles, and I watched Red Zone afterward. Through a site that I will never reveal because F you NFL and your stupid law like. Contracts with DirecTV and their scumbag ass. There's a reason everyone leaves DirecTV because they suck. I have to do that again this week. I'm going to watch my Eagles against the Jags at 1:00, and then Red Zone from 4 to 7:30. Why do I have to do that? Because the NFL's distribution is stupid. I have to either watch the Giants play the Bears in a game that's probably going to finish with a final score of 10-6, or I have to watch the Jets play who the fuck are the Jets playing this week, Matt?
They're playing the Steelers.
Exactly. Another 15-6 game. The city of New York has never stopped mocking me for where I live. It makes me upset because I despise both New York teams on Sundays. I don't hate the Jets personally. I hate that I have to watch their bullshit game where I could watch my fucking Eagles play the Jaguars and probably the game of the week. But instead, the game of the week this week, gents. Oh my God. I think it's like we're going to find what this is. The NFL really fucked this pig. Let's see. Packers, Patriots. Oh boy. That's going to be a fucking, I think it spreads 11.5. Holy shit. It might be up to 14 now. I'm so sick of the NFL I understand injuries happen, but if I'm an Eagles fan, I was going to the Eagles game and it said, 1:00 start. And then I find out a week and a half before, hey, so you're getting flexed to the 4:25 game for America's game of the week. Perfect. That makes me happy. One, as a player, that made me happy because, great, I get to stay in a little later. I get to get my day started later. Two, as a fan, fuck yeah. Getting out of Philadelphia into the Jersey Turnpike's a lot easier at 7:45 at night than it is at 4:45 in the afternoon. I'm telling you right now from personal experience. So, with that being my NFL, get your shit together. This has been shit. At least this is the best Thursday night game they've had, though. I will give them that. Bengals Dolphins is fucking genius, but step your game up on Sundays, bitch. Damn. All right, gents, you have any way you want to throw in that fucking amazing board behind me?
I'm gonna
hit it right out of the park with that one. So I'm just gonna give you a clap. I'm just gonna give you a kudos on that one. No,
cheers. Cheers, gentlemen. Cheers.
Cheers to that. Yeah, all yours, Matt.
I'm going to throw the random fan that completely botched the opportunity of catching Aaron Judge's 61st home run of the season. Because the last, 2 weeks, it feels like all I've been hearing was, who's going to catch Aaron Judge's 61st home run ball? What are they going to do? Are they going to give it away? Are they going to cash it in? Are they going to go and sell it? Like somebody's going to be a millionaire. They're going to bust $3-5 million, this and that. They're going to have everything paid for. Aaron Judge swipes his 61st home run, and the guy botches the ball. Doesn't even catch it. I think it bounced right off the glove or something like that.
I think Sarah Walsh's husband caught it. The pitching coach for the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
And
he gave it right back, which is obviously he's going to because he's employed by the MLB with the Jays. Like, you're not going to just keep the ball hostage. But the fan had every opportunity. The fan had every opportunity to change his life, to take care of all of his finances, to retire and go live comfortably for the rest of his life. And instead, even with a baseball mitt on his hand, he could not drive. Hand on his face the entire time. He knew what he just did. And all this fucking talk about who's going to cash in is all dead and done because it happened and the ball got returned to him and the ball went to Judge's mom. So let's put that fan on the dartboard because I can understand not catching a ball because you don't have a glove on, but he had a glove on. There's no excuse.
Unacceptable.
Couple quick notes. Joey Bosa placed on IR. 2, the video so far from Thursday Football, this uniform combo of the aquamarine against the white Bengals uniforms is gas. 3, the Blue Jays clinched the playoff berth. Congratulations, Toronto. Your country isn't useless. Also, Myles Garrett did the dumbest thing fucking possible and admit to speeding. Why? Why would you admit to speeding, you dipshit? Never admit to shit unless they catch you.
Because he's got 7 citations for speeding already at this point.
I know! That's the point! I saw that in the article. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That's like me back before I went on driving. Okay, so everyone who knows me, who's listening to the show, my license has been on probation since 2019. It is off probation in less than 3 months. I am so excited. 2 months, actually. I am so excited. I've been driving slow on purpose to make sure I don't get my fucking license chopped. And the biggest thing to me is, hey, dipshit, don't go on your phone. That's what costs you your license. Myles Garrett, don't admit to fucking speeding if they don't have proof. Jesus Christ. I understand, you're trying to be an upstanding citizen. I get that. I respect that. But, buddy, come on. You can pay for the Ubers. I get that. But come on. It's just fucking common sense. Just shut up. Oh, speeding. No shit. But if you don't say it, they can't charge you for it.
Myles Garrett has had an interesting timeline. He's had all the speeding citations, and then he hit. Obviously, we all know he hit Mason Rudolph over the head with a helmet. Then wasn't it last year or so? He had a fan approach him while he was in his car to sign an autograph or something. Then this fan sucker punched him and ran away.
Something like that. The best part about this isn't even the worst fan experience I've heard of this week. Can we talk about the fact that there's that Texas Tech fan when they upset Texas, and the fact of the matter is that. Only the people in Lubbock, Texas Police Department are actually trying to look for this guy. Everyone else in that area is ignoring the fact this dude shoved a Longhorn player to the ground. And it's hysterical because nobody else gives a fuck. Yeah, I find it hysterical. One, because I hate all Texas colleges. They're all annoying as fuck. Two, actually no, I don't mind the Red Raiders, but like this is kind of stupid. It's just this whole thing is fucking weird. And the fact of the matter is that like everyone else in Lubbock is trying to hide this, and like the Pittsburgh's like, no, this is a criminal investigation. This is assault technically, especially in a area. Well, also if you hit a Texas player, I understand that dude was probably blackout drunk. You hit a college athlete on the field post game, do you know there's consequences? We just it's just common fucking sense at this point.
He's lucky he didn't get retaliatory slapped across the face with a helmet.
Bro, if I was that linebacker, I would have turned my helmet off and smacked him in the face with the helmet. Give him a nice little
with the Kimbo helmets charging after him.
Bro, Aaron Donald with the fucking helmet swings. I love it. The fact of the matter is he had never even got a fucking sniff of suspension was great.
Didn't even get a slap on the wrist. They just got to turn a blind cheek. It was like, oh, I'm sure there's two sides to every story, and just walked away from it.
He probably called him the N-bomb. We'll actually believe him this time, unlike Myles Garrett. I seriously do think Mason Rudolph dropped that N-bomb because ever since that, nobody's even tried to keep Mason Rudolph on the field. He's just there to fill a roster spot. Wow. Okay, so here's one more. Okay, by the way, before we go, because it's the last story of the night, Miami faked out the stadium spy. They noticed what was going on, and they had 12 people on the field the entire time, according to NFL Network. Because Mike McDonald's that fucking kooky where that makes sense.
Like Tyreek said, get the wheelbarrow out for him. He's going to need it on the sidelines.
Fair enough. All right. Final thoughts for y'all before we head out. Matt, anything you want to say to the folks at home before we leave?
I'm gonna pray that I get at least 2 of my 6 picks correct this week. So my ending thoughts to the fans out there is that pray for me that I at least make this somewhat of a challenging week for myself with these picks, so I just don't completely make a fucking ass of myself and get 1 out of 6 this time.
Well, the thing is, you're only losing me by 4, so it's like you could have one good week and you're in first place.
Well, I hope that this is this week. Let's see if this reverse psychology strategy of mine is going to work.
Fair enough. DJ, anything you want to say to nice fans at home?
Not a whole lot. Just thank you once again for having me, guys. It's always a pleasure to come on here and talk some trash as well, too. Looking forward to this Thursday night game as well, too. I'm wondering which one of us is going to hit the nail on the head, too, because I feel like one of us is going to hit the nail right on the head, too. I'm curious which one.
Oh, we're going to hear about it later. And tell Kelsey I was going to text him, but I thought we were going to have 3 other guests, so I didn't want to crowd the board. You answered before I even had a chance to text him. So I was like, oh shit, okay, that's 6. Cool. And our other 3 guests have basically gone NBA. By the way, update, our 2 other guests in Florida, they are both okay. They just are lazy as hell. They didn't want to respond to me. And they decided they didn't want to come on the show. I know one is watching right now because he just messaged me. But I love you both. Happy both of you guys are safe and your properties are okay. To the other one who doesn't live in Florida, you suck. And tell Cruz he's a chicken shit. Last thoughts here. 1, check out High Low Sports on bellyupsports.com. Their podcast is awesome. It's one of the best football podcasts we got here. Honestly, besides ours, there's no other podcast you have to listen to for pro football besides High Low Sports. That's pretty obvious. And last but not least, give a shout out to my friend Joe Hall, hallacrossthecountry.com. Give a donation, buy a badass t-shirt. They have Apple Pay, by the way. So you want a quick listen. I bought that t-shirt in 3 clicks while drinking, while filling in for Scott on Craft Brew Sports. Shout out to them as well. hallacrossthecountry.com. They are the shit. Also, shout out to Joe. He's almost there. He's about I think 3-4 weeks away from his goal. And we all gotta keep supporting him because listen, mental health is a huge issue in this country right now, and it's affected even if you don't know it, it's affected your life in some way. Either it's a friend of yours, a family member, a relative, somebody is struggling, and it's something you need to talk to them about and be there for them. And this is a charity and a cause that is so near and dear to my heart because of how my life has been affected by mental health, especially in men's mental health issue, which is a really big problem in America right now. Not just even in women's health as well, because I have a relative she has struggled with as well. Either way, It is a huge issue in my life with family, friends of mine, and people close to me. So I took extra caution to make sure I support this and Joe's cause, because Joe is doing fighting the good fight for a great cause. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have the chance, check out hallacrossthecountry.com. Our boy Mike Burlon, friend of the show, helps run it for Joe, run it with Joe, and it's just a great thing to do. And also check out Craft Brew Sports every Tuesday, live at YouTube at 8 o'clock to watch Joe's check-ins. They're hysterical to the point of where I'm pissing myself. I'm laughing so hard. We appreciate y'all so much for checking us out. Check out Matt's hard work on our TikTok at Corner Booth Pod, Instagram at Corner Booth Pod, Facebook Corner Booth, and Twitter at Corner Booth Pod. We love y'all so much. Shout out to our sponsors. Candy Dips, promo code Belly20 for 20% off. I just ordered a whole new sleeve today. Check out their new caffeine line and sleep lines laced with either melatonin or caffeine. Both sound awesome. And shout out to our favorite sponsor, of course, YeatsOfficial.com. Promo code Corner Booth, 10% off for amazing stylish sunglasses, durable and polarized at a fraction of the price. We love y'all so much. We hope you have an amazing weekend. Do not drink and drive. Drink responsibly. And go Birds. And let's pray for me, Matt Sixpack. We appreciate y'all. Peace.